Yo, what's good everybody? Welcome to my new video. I'm gonna talk about charge build leveling for Season 3 Barbarian because charge has gotten some sweet love for the next season. They literally introduced every single change I was waiting for or hoped for since the release of this game. Always wanted to do a charge build. Some of you might remember me from doing this build in Season 1. I was one of the first ones to do playable charge build that worked. As you can see, tier 100, no 45 at all on this character. It was with a million in hearts. Let's see what the season 3 with the mechanic with the pet spider is gonna bring us. And overall, I was running axes this time. I was trying to do something different than the classic swords or maces for dual wield with double swing. But yeah, the combo with this one is basically just steel grass to group mobs together into charge, to charge them into a terrain. Next season, we don't have to do that anymore against terrain. The cooldown for the charge will be just, just like that if you just charge them into open. The only difference is if you charge them into terrain, it's gonna do more damage, so that will be still pretty damn good. And even with open dungeon like this one, this is Nostrava Deepwood, which is pretty, open dungeon, not really that tight corridors like, I don't know, back then Circle Caverns and whatnot. So even with this layout, it's still possible. And the leaderboards are going to be introduced later on in the season. They're about to be tier 70 equivalent of mobs from Nightmare Dungeons, I heard. Not sure if that's true, but that's the gauntlet, apparently. So for content like that with easy mobs, you want something very fast, which is literally charge build. There is nothing, I couldn't see. Maybe Sork will be faster for teleports, but overall, I think it's going to be S tier build for sure. I already loved it in season 1, and it was before the buffs. Well, they introduced the first new aspect for charge with the ancestrals, but a lot of the aspects and whatnot, synergies didn't work then. They just fixed it after the season, I think. Some of the interactions. They also fixed, going to season 3, they fixed the veteran brawler aspect with these ancestrals echoes. They were not triggering the explosion from this brawler aspect, but in season 3 they fixed it and it works. It's going to work, so this is just a little showcase, sneak peek. I'm gonna run literally this build when leveling. We'll see where it takes me. I will definitely do some adjustments for Paragon Board, maybe even skills, but this will 100% work while leveling, 100%. And we might not even need any core skill or not even steel grasp, right? Like I believe I already mentioned it, but it might be so we can only just have charge on the hotbar and nothing else. But there's also changes to martial glyph. I'm gonna show it later in the patch notes. I'm also excited about that one. That one's gonna help with the cooldown reduction on charge as well. Also in this run, I just I couldn't let the one mob alive. I had to kill everything. It's crazy. I had this issue in Nightmares, man. It was crazy. Also, tier 100 Nightmare Dungeons are gonna be very worthwhile to farm. They're increasing the gear score of the item level to 925, so it's gonna be amazing. Now, a lot of people talking about charge and rent synergy. Sure, with the new aspect and everything, with brawler skills and rent, it's gonna work great. It's gonna be amazing, but I'm just afraid with bleed builds, it's gonna stall you. With bleed builds, you have to wait for mobs to bleed out, and with that, you would have to backtrack for items. I don't want that. Just want to rush in, loot some items here and there, go back again, or just go forward, Just don't stop. Also, Thibault's Will from Duriel, the pants that give you unstoppable. That give you a primary resource if you're unstoppable, which charge is making you unstoppable. We don't even need any generator, but in my build, we will not really see this setup you see in the video. This is just end game, but you will see a bit of modified version just for leveling. And you know what? Let's get straight into it, right? So the first things, this is the skill tree, but I'm gonna talk about the patch notes. So the things that's getting changed or increased. Base damage for charge is increased by 900% from 0.25 to 2.5. Insane increase. Cannot wait for this one. Also, enhanced charge terrain impact is increased by 150% from 0.6 to 1.5. Pretty insane. Like these two combine without any aspects itself, right? I will have in the planner, you will see aspects for charge and whatnot that are not really from the codex itself. You will have to trap them. So it also depends on RNG, but even without that, it's gonna work. I'm pretty sure we will be able to just use charge, nothing else. Power charge no longer requires a terrain impact to reduce the cooldown of charge, and now charging a boss will reduce the cooldown by 6 seconds. Without any skills or any extra points, I believe the cooldown is about 9.5 seconds. So this without any gear, without any aspects, but the new stuff, mainly martial, I will show you the change. Also, Leap is getting pretty nice change. But a Martial Glyph reduces the cooldown of every non-shout skills by 4 seconds. I'm not really sure if this applies to ultimate skill. If it does, that's a GG. That's gonna be insanely good. But that's just up to testing. I didn't pick any ultimate skill, but in my build, I will talk about it later. And instead of every other shout, you know, there used to be before. So I'm very excited about this glyph. I don't know what it is, but they wanted to make shouts like not as mandatory in the builds. This to me though screams like a huge buff, and take all 3 shouts. It is what it is, especially if it accounts for ultimate skill. We'll see though. I could be wrong about this one, right? It's all in testing. Also pretty big fan of this Echoing Fury. Generates 6 to 10 fury per second while any shout is active instead of 2 to 4 for each shout. I'm a big fan of this one. This also will get increased by resource generation, having that on ranks, for example, or from Shaco. But Uber Unique, they haven't really changed anything about Uber Uniques, like getting duplicates no longer possible. Sadly, that's not the case. We still have to farm like crazy. And also, yeah, on the account of charge being buffed, they nerfed some of the aspects for charge, like this one. Reduce the bonus damage per stack from 15 to 20% to 6 to 8. So you could get a max of 300%. On 200, you could get 600%. I used to run that. It's down to 30 to 40%. So you'll be able to get 80% on 200. It's still going to be worth like 80% multi on charge. Sign me up, coach. I'm ready. Ancestral charge. It's those 4, you know, ancestrals you could see in the video. That's the aspect. They also reduce the bonus damage. Once again, it could be 60% on 200 instead of 250%, but it's still gonna be absolutely crazy. I'm gonna run both on 200s to have the 2 times multi, you know, 2 times stronger aspect actually. Then some other stuff, and yeah, also they finally the expertise leveling has been cut by 50%, good stuff. And also unconstrained insane damage buff. I don't know why. Maybe because everyone was running Unbridled Rage before, so maybe that's why they buffed it. I'm a big fan of this one. This is what I'm gonna go with because brawling skills are all about berserking. Also, Walking Arsenal seems pretty interesting. In that video, you could see me use 2 skills that require 2 different weapons, so I might introduce a 3rd skill instead of Steel Grasp. Maybe Rupture for attack speed. But that one, Rupture Whirl, has a pretty clunky animation. You have to like, oh, it's this little thingy with Rupture. Maybe they changed it, but it took a bit too long animation. Also, they nerfed Overpower. Not only this passive, but Overpower itself. Let me see if I can find it real quick right here. So it might seem like a lot of nerf, but I'm still gonna run Overpower. Like in general, they should be like 9%, almost like 10% damage nerf to Overpower overall. But even if you have like you usually had over 2000% Overpower at endgame build, so this nerf is not really that huge. So I'm still gonna run it. And I even might run Upheaval. Some of you know that Upheaval Double Swing, my 2 favorite builds. I was running Upheaval my 2nd Barb last season, season 2. So I will also do a separate video for that, so you can expect that too for leveling. But yeah, every 25 seconds, Upheaval guarantee Overpower deals increased damage. Like if you get the increased multi on Upheaval upgraded skill, pretty nuts. And then this timer is ready by 4 seconds when Upheaval overpowers a boss or an enemy kill. We'll see about leaderboards, how many elites it's gonna contain. If it's crowded elites, it's gonna be very good. So I might drop Double Swing and get Upheaval instead. The only problem is with Upheaval, you need, because of the slow animation, the slowest of all in core skills, you need high attack speed. So you could go with some shenanigans like Walking Arsenal for the attack speed here, and then Upheaval Rupture maybe. We'll see about that. But these were the patch notes, aka the Natch Potes. Let's get to the builds, right? I just where's my goddamn build? Right here. Alright, so we are starting to go with Lunging Strike. So you could go either with Lunging Strike or Flay. As for leveling a basic skill, I like both, so it's really a personal preference. Now, the core skill with this build, you honestly can go with any skill, any core skill you want. You could go with Whirlwind, you could go with Hota, Upheaval, Rand, Double Swing. It's all up to you. I like Double Swing though, because we can either have our enemies vulnerable, which is gonna come in handy early on. If you won't have any Berserk trigger, right, you can get Berserk from Lunging Strike, but our crit strike is gonna be too low. So at first, you would want to go like this for vulnerable. Later on, I would probably swap to Berserking. It all depends. I need to see how this build plays out because there's quite a lot of Berserking sources. So from here, you would want to put like 2 points in double swing and maybe this upgraded, but we don't really have any stun or knockdown at this point, so I would put pump. I would pump points and then a double swing until you open defensive. With defensive, you want to focus on rallying cry and making it unstoppable. And then you could go either fortify, like this is a very good skill for rallying cry. I was a big fan with this one since season 1 or season 2, I'm not sure. But it stacks 45 pretty fast if you have a lot of mobs around you, or like if you have high attack speed, it does stack a lot because you get 45 on taking damage and then the damage you do. So it's like double source, if you will. Max HP, but we don't care about this one for now. We would just put points in Rallying Cry and more points in Double Swing to access Brawling. But Brawling, you want to go all the way for Charge. I would probably put all points in this one. I would not even if you unlock this row, I would still probably go with Charge. And if you feel like you have problem grouping mobs up, you could, take some points away from Charge when you unlock Weapon Mastery and put them in Steel Grasp to really group them together. Because as you can see in the video, like Steel Grasp into Double Swing to make them vulnerable. Or you might not even need that because Steel Grasp was actually buffed. It used to be 2 seconds, now it's 3. It's been buffed for some time, but you can just do Steel Grasp into Double Swing or into Charge right away. It's up to you. Before, in season 1, when you cast a Double Swing, you had a chance to knock down enemies, so that's why I always did that. But it's really up to you. You can find your own like kind of combo combo with this setup. The sky's the limit pretty much. So yeah, if you could put pump points in Charge, then Steel Grasp, then you could go with War Cry to give you damage in Berserk. Or you could just go straight to War Cry and then Charge, but I feel like I really want to go make a build around only Charge. That's my dream, right? So you can just pump Charge non-stop. I would probably put points in Swiftness for wind speed. Gonna help a lot with grinding. And especially like Domheim Tunnels is the dungeon where everyone is leveling. I'm gonna level there as well in World Tier 2 or 1. It's gonna depend on difficulty, but with this setup, I'm pretty sure World Tier 2 is gonna be nothing but a peanut. And Domheim Tunnels is absolutely bonkers for Charge build. Some of you might even remember my clip, my shorts, where I showcased this build in Domheim Tunnels in a group. Oh my god, what a sweetness thing to look at. Sweet thing to look at. So yeah. Steel Grasp, movement speed, at this point, War Cry, Charge, we should unlock ultimates. I only went here for passives. It kind of depends here, well, that's the thing. Heavy-handed, I had Charge on my two-hander, so you could go with this one. But at this low level, I'm not sure if this level 35 something level, something like that. I'm not sure if I'm gonna have a lot of crit chance. So you could probably skip these passives even for Valop because you could have slashing weapon. I had this one for. Actually, I didn't even run this one in my season 1 build because I was running slashing weapons, not bludgeoning. Maybe I had mace on my Charge. No, I had axe, so it depends what kind of axes you have for weapons while leveling. You could even put attack speed for double swing here. Or you could just I would probably just go straight for Invigorating Fury here for max life when you spend Fury. Now with the Fury spent, right, Upheaval comes into play because it costs 40 Fury. This is pretty good. That's where it's pretty good. And the Fury gain, I don't think it's gonna be a problem. And double swing, you can just cast this 4 times. It's not a problem as well if you have a stun, which we shoot from aspect from Weapon Mastery. I put that as in the planner. So Steel Grasp stun. Or you could just go Whelp into Concussion if you have bludgeoning weapons for stun. It's really up to you. And then we would go with Unconstrained. This one is getting buffed. If you like to, well, yeah, I would go with this one for sure. Your last skill, which is, well, at that point, we might not even need basic skill. So it's up to you if you wanna, not use the basic skill and go, put points in either Wrath of the Berserker or even Call of the Ancients because it gives you attack speed buff, gives you Fury as well. So this one is about either. Maybe a Maelstrom, it's really up to you, and go with Walking Arsenal. So there's a lot of things you can go with, but this is my this will be my setup. These points are up to you if you have bludgeoning weapon or not, and then if you have enough crit chance or not. That goes with Mortal Draw Glyph on Paragon. I'm gonna show you later on. I put points in a Pit Fighter. This is like 2 birds with 1 stone. Close damage increased, close enemies damage increased, and then DR from distance. We kind of need that. Well, with Steel Grasp, kind of depends. Maybe not even, huh? But there are some mobs immune to Steel Grasp, like the snakes in Domheim Tunnels. Maybe, hopefully they fixed it. Put some points of Booming Voice to have our War Cry and Rallying Cry last longer. We got some DR while Berserking. We also get some Berserking while having Brawling skill. So yeah, we might not even need Berserking here from Double Swing. Max HP, good stuff, 18%, absolutely insane. If you struggle with defensives, or HP, if you need some more defensives, you could drop War Cry and go with Challenging Shouts, or you could go with Iron Skin, or I believe Iron Warrior. Well, Iron Skin aspect on your armor, which gives you DR. And you could pump points in here. But yeah, movement speed, I talked about it. You could go with counteroffensive here with 45. 45 could be this one. I think it's gonna be fast enough to give us 45 for this one to take effect because it's 50%. But we'll see about that. I could be wrong on this one. And that pretty much covers the passives. Now for endgame, level 100, it's gonna look maybe a bit different because once again, we're gonna have different aspects, itemization throughout the leveling, what we will drop, maybe even uniques, maybe even we'll start doing drills, so it's gonna change a little bit. This is strictly for leveling, it's gonna be different builds. And yeah, so some of these aspects you need to drop, so kind of RNG reliant, but I tried to pick the ones that are from dungeons. So they also promised some change about aspects. I'm not sure if that's live for you, but Weapon Mastery is 2 charge for Steel Grasp with the chance to stun. Might for some DR with basic skill. If you don't use basic skill, you could do something else on the chest piece. You could even use Rage of Harrogath, to be honest, and go with because people have Berserk Ripping right here on the gloves. That could also work pretty interesting. Rage of Harrogath is a chest piece dropping from Grigor, from the Lightning boss. Gives you cooldown reduction on skills, non-ultimate skills, I believe, from enemies that are bleeding. Disobedience for armor increase, important. Coast Walker for movement speed increase because with charge we are non-stop unstoppable. Love that. On 200s here, we got the first one for charge, the Ancestrals. Mind you, the total will be different because it was nerfed. And Veteran Brawler, I will probably try either this one, or I'm gonna try the one that makes mobs explode if they die within 2 seconds after hitting them with the charge ability. Because that one finally does work with this ancestral charge. These ancestrals will also be able to proc this explosive aspect. Let me see if I can find it. I think it was equipped. Oh, hold on, I have it here actually. Hello there. Enemies damaged with charge will explode if they're killed within 2 seconds. So maybe even put this on 200. Maybe swap these two. We'll see about that. Edge Master here for damage increase on our skills. For the rings, I went with Barclan for even more cooldown reduction. You kinda need that. Killing enemy while berserking. We have non-stop berserk. 40% chance. Big Gamba. Either you do get the cooldown reduction or you don't. By 2 seconds. Sorry, for 2 seconds by 16 or 32% CDR. Next one we got Bold Chieftain for shouts. Goes old Marshal. Once again, that's changed. I will show you in the patch notes. Anemia on the Amulet. Didn't really know what to put here. I went with Stun. Why not? Goes well with the Berserk Ripping the Bleed. Expertise is our mace. If you don't have Berserk Ripping or don't want to use it, you can use totally 200 sword here, which is 20% bleeding. And I also have a video that shows how to level Weapon Mastery really quick, Weapon Expertise, so you can go take a look. And now that they cut it by 50%, it's gonna fly in no time. These are the skills and the aspects as well. Let's go over to Paragon. Paragon will 100% change when I get to level 100 for endgame or, for the real build. But this was gonna set you up pretty well for leveling. First up, we got Ire. Also depends what kind of glyphs you will be able to drop early on when you're leveling. So this might be a bit different. Try to use whatever you get first. Went with both sides here because I like the HP increase and really low requirements. The first board we are going with is Weapon Master just for the armor nodes here and some strength because some damage increase. And I went with Cleaver. Like I said, I'm gonna try to go with axes here. So damage with X increase and crit damage about 12% multiplier. I'm trying to do something different this time, right? Next up, we got Carnage Board with some attack speed. Your crit strike gives you attack speed. At this point, we should get pretty good. We should get pretty good amount of crit strikes. We want to go with the nodes for berserking and elites here. Also berserking, damage while berserking. Next glyph, you're gonna go with Molten Draw. You want to swap between before using charge, you want to use double swing or a core skill with different weapons basically, so that your charge will get benefit from this glyph. meaning both crit chance and the damage. It's pretty insane, by the way. If you can get affix on your chest piece, maybe even amulet, with damage with skills that swap to new weapons is increased, you can get that on those 2 items, by the way. It stacks with this glyph. It is massive. So we get some more DR here, and also once again Berserking, my favorite board. Another board here, we are going with Flawless Technique just for the crit damage here. I like it a lot. Double swing, benefits from crit damage while one-handed. We have a glyph here that improves magic nodes, ambidextrous, also damage with one-handers, so that's another one. And next up we got, I think this is Bonebreaker, just for the DR while healthy. But not only because of that, I'm a big fan of this cluster node, because you get max HP armor, 8% max HP with 100 armor, insane. So more max HP armor, it kind of depends what you want with these two. You can also sacrifice some points in, well, hold on, let me show you. First, we got Red here for crit damage and also for some Generation Fury. Once again, this 3 Fury will get increased with resource generation rings or items. And last board, we are rocking with Decimator. I will probably swap to Overpower as well build at this point, so I will put points in this one. I will most likely put points away from this one. I used to stack Vulnerable a lot, but I will probably put points away from here, put them in Decimator. We got some defensives here, again, more HP, because there's a lot of stuff that's gonna scale from max HP, both mainly Overpower, as you could see. And also the pet, there are some runes that scale from max HP, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, last glyph is Marshall. That's the changed one I showed you in patch notes. Increasing or buffing magic nodes, once again DR here from vulnerable, also vulnerable damage. And you can also, those are the last couple of points, like you could maybe even skip this cluster, continue here for Decimator, or you can even skip this one and put your points in weapon swap, because we're going to be swapping between double swing or like your core skill and charge, so you could totally go this way. And on the way you could grab this lightning resistance and armor, super handy. You can probably skip like this resistance overall on items. I believe I used to run this one as my later charge build, but yeah, this will be the charge setup. Leveling build and Paragon as well. The consumables, if you want to go spicy, dicey, whatever, you could go with max HP potion from health tides or armor increase, crit damage increase, crit chance increase. We'll see about that, but I was a big fan of max HP for overpower builds. If you guys have any questions, hit me up. I just messed it up. Hit me up in the comment section below. And I will also stream every day, or I'm streaming every day on Twitch. I will have the links in the description, and you can also access my Discord. If I'm not streaming, you can ask me in Discord, and obviously YouTube as well, and just basically anywhere. But thank you guys for watching. I wish you good luck with the grind. I cannot wait to grind as well. It's gonna be a good one for sure. Can't wait to get back into it. Finally with viable charge, and yeah, until then, have a good one. Thank you everybody for watching, and peace.